Hello and welcome to my latest 50mm Flames of War painting tutorial. So today we've got an M4 Sherman in its late variants. This is going to be typical of your sort of Battle of the Bulge onwards theme to it. And yeah, I really love this model. However, this model is currently out of production. It is the metal and resin model. So this particular model, not the variant of the Sherman, but just the metal resin model is out of production. But if you go to the new Battlefront group Flames of War website, you can find the nation under obviously America, and if you scroll down you'll be able to find a plastic kit that covers a variety of different Shermans, and you will be able to get this variant of Sherman in there. And the plastic kits that Flames of War have released are absolutely sensational. They are much better than their old resin kits in my opinion. Now you want to start off giving your vehicle a dark base of a prime color, so like a black or a really dark brown. I'm going to go with black though from Tamiya, and then I'm going to airbrush olive drab on it with, again, using the Tamiya paint range. Tamiya with airbrushing is a fantastic paint range to use if you're new to airbrushing. The only downside to Tamiya paints with airbrushing is the fact that they are very few and far between in terms of their variety of paint, so you have to do a lot of mixing to get the paint variants that you want. So just bear that in mind if you're new to airbrushing, but I would highly recommend Tamiya if you're just starting out. So to get a nice sort of panel worn look, we're using olive drab and buff at a 2:1 ratio, so that's 2 parts olive drab and 1 part buff. And now I'm doing what I call like a panel highlight, so you can see, you can barely see, but you should be able to make out that I'm just spraying in the middle of those panels. There's no precision to this, guys. It's all about using your hands and eyes, just getting it right exactly where you want it to go. And you can see that I'm just painting the important areas, or airbrushing the important areas. Now I know I'm going to be asked what have I got my compressor set to. It is at 15 psi or 1 bar, and the brush that I'm using is a very old brush, and I believe the size of the needle is a 0.35mm needle. So yeah, it's very sort of basic entry-level airbrush I'm using now. And then olive drab and buff at a 1:1 ratio, and you can see a little trick that I like to use is spray a little dot on my white piece of paper and just keep spraying within that dot so I can see how bright that the next round of colors is going to be. So now again I'm just repeating exactly what I did before, obviously not putting in as much, but you can see that this particular round of colors, so the equal ratio to olive drab and buff, is really making those panels start to stand out, and I think it looks absolutely great. But you can also add in some more buff later on if you want to, if you believe that it's not light enough yet. And do remember that as soon as you put a gloss varnish down, then that's going to get darker. So now with that airbrush, let's put a gloss varnish down and we can get to that panel wash. So with the panel wash, I'm going to use the panel line color from Tamiya. It's the dark brown. It comes already with a little tiny brush attached to it, and it stores a lot of that wash within that little capsule there. So now it's just all about doing a pin wash and just letting that wash just run through the recesses. Especially if you've got that gloss varnish on there, it's going to be great. Also, being an enamel wash, you want to protect the acrylic paint, so make sure you're giving that a good spray of that gloss varnish. I won't be showing you how to do decals because I've got a decal tutorial already specifically for Flames of War, and I'll leave a link to that in the video description as well as a little entry above. Now to clean it, I'm using the enamel thinners on my cotton bud, just a very touch of that thinners, and then I'm drying it off there and cleaning up all the excess. Do bear in mind with this panel wash from Tamiya, it dries very quickly, so try and get to it as soon as you can. Right, now for the tracks. I'm going to be painting them in black, and you might be thinking, what on earth are you doing? Why are you painting tracks in black? They're not black, but bear with me. Once you see the finished result, I think I'm going to surprise you. Black is a very good color to use for tracks in my opinion, if it's dry brushed correctly, which is what I'm going to show you in a little while. Now for the road wheels, I'm going to be painting them in black grey. However, with this specific model, I know I'm going to be weathering it quite dirtily. I'm going to be putting in a lot of pigments, etc. So I've decided that I'm not going to be painting the road wheels other than the one that's on the side of the turret. Now with that same colour, that black grey from Vallejo, I'm going to be painting any of the metal areas. So that's the shovel, the axe, the machine guns. Obviously if I wanted to paint the road wheels I could do, but I'm being very, very lazy, guys, and I'm not going to paint the road wheels today. And you can tell me at the end of the video if you think I made a mistake by not painting them. But yeah, I was being a little bit lazy. I thought I could get away with it with the intention of weathering that area really quite heavily. Now for the wood, I'm using flat earth. And you can see that flat earth makes a lovely bright wood colour to it, and really does make that particular item stand out, especially on that sort of olive drab colour on the chassis there. So there's the axe and there's the shovel. Now we want to move on. We want to paint the lights and the glass. So I'm going to be using Luftwaffe Uniform World War II for that. And this is honestly my go-to colour for painting glass and windows and such. It's just a lovely colour. I think it just works great. It gives you that sort of blue haze that you might get from a sunny day, but it's not like a dark blue or a medium blue. It's just a nice purpley light blue. So now we want to do some chipping. So I'm using German camo black brown, and it's going to be really hard to see because the base colour of the actual Sherman is already quite dark, especially with that gloss varnish on there. But you want to just remove the bulk of the paint off this little bit of foam, break it up so it's all uneven, the foam, and then just start patting down very lightly in the areas you think is going to get a lot of wear from chips and such. Now we want to go ahead and wash these grills here in a black wash. So I'm using normal and technical medium at a 1:1 ratio. It's up to you. This black wash is just helping me just to really wash the items that I've painted already, so those bits of equipment, as well as do like a little panel highlight and highlight any areas with a wash that I feel like were missed with that enamel wash. Now I use burnt umber for the tracks. Remember I was saying we were going to move on to the tracks with a dry brush. I'm using burnt umber, and I'm being very, very generous with this dry brush, and you can see that I'm not just dry brushing the tracks, I'm dry brushing that whole assembly there, and it does look absolutely great. So black and burnt umber mixed together does a phenomenal job of giving you a worn, dusty, muddy looking track. But just to add a little bit of colour to those tracks, I'm going to use base lead belcher. So it's just a silver, any old silver, and just a very, very minor dry brush on some of the outer edges of that track, as if some of that silver track is just protruding through some of that dried up old mud and that. Now it's all about going over the areas that have just been washed. So that's the black grey in this case, and that is going to be our first layer for the metal items. Now to highlight those metal items, I'm going to be using black grey and basalt grey at a 1:1 ratio. I'm not going to be using a silver, it just looks a bit too unrealistic for my eye, and I think this just adds a nice subtle highlight to it. Now with the wood, I'm going to be using flat earth, and I can only apologise for this particular scene. It's all out of focus. I think my camera was just trying to pick up my hand. But it's very frustrating when you're editing videos like this and you can see it's out of focus, but you do get the gist. I do this step in pretty much all of my videos, so you can definitely check it out on another video if you want to see a sort of better focused one. And then flat earth and orange brown at a 1:1 ratio is going to be our second layer. You can probably skip this step, guys. Don't feel like you have to do this. This is me just being a little bit pedantic. It's my method, it's the way I do things, a little bit of OCD in there. So yeah, it's up to you. If you want to copy what I'm doing, then definitely do it. But you can skip what I just did before and just go with this step, the orange brown. Just bear in mind, this orange brown is very, very bright. So just put a very small amount on the tip of your brush. I'm using a size 0 brush, and just apply on very slowly, and obviously don't over apply. Now for those glass areas, I'm going to be using Luftwaffe Uniform again. So you can see there's little slits there that the commander can peek out of without having his head shot off. And then I'm going to go Luftwaffe Uniform and white grey at a 2:1 ratio. You can see that that glass colour is really starting to pop now. And then finally, I'm going to be using Luftwaffe uniform on white grade, a 1:1 ratio. Now, if you're just painting these glass slits, then you probably don't need to do that second step as shown before, but there's also bulbs and stuff, lights and that on this vehicle that need to be painted, hence why we've done the additional step. Now I want to apply some pigments. So you can see that I'm using the Dust and Dirt pigment set from Vallejo, but I'm only using the sort of sandy colour that was in there. So you don't have to buy the whole set if you don't want to. But yeah, you can see as it is just straight out the bottle, it probably looks good for more of like an Omaha beach sort of look to it, like as if the tank's just coming onto the beach. But don't worry, it is intentional. I'm going to darken that up in a little while. So you can see that I'm being very generous with it, and I'm bashing it down, making sure it doesn't stay in too many clumps. The clumps are really good in the recesses and such, just so that it shows a bit of build up. But yeah, just apply it nicely. And then once you've applied it, use some pigment binder or even the Vallejo airbrush thinners. Get a toothpick and put some of that binder or thinners on a brush and just slowly work it in. This is just going to vary it and help that dust effect bind to the actual vehicle. It's going to give you a nice weathered looking vehicle, and it's a really easy process to do. So then there we go, but because it's still got that yellow hint to it, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a wash of Umbar wash. And this Umbar wash is going to give it a really nice sort of brown muddy look to it, but without looking too fresh. Obviously it looks fresh at the moment because this wash is wet at the moment, but once it's dry it's going to really work its magic. And don't be afraid to get in on some of the side bits there where that pigment is accumulated in the recesses. I did the whole lot, got a bit of this wash. You can see I've just done that there along that panel line there. And then finally, once all of that's dried, go ahead and hit any of those glass areas with a bit of that gloss varnish. So I'll just use the gloss varnish that Vallejo offer, just straight out of the bottle. And then there we have it. We have our weathered Flames of War M4 Sherman for sort of like the late war period. Yeah, really enjoyed this. I probably would have gone a touch lighter with the colours when I was at the airbrushing stage. I didn't take into consideration that that gloss varnish was really going to darken that base colour as much as it did, which is a bit of a bummer, but I still think it's come out really nicely. So I'd be keen to hear below if you think it's come out nicely, or if you too would have maybe gone a little bit lighter with the colours. So let me know below. Really did enjoy this. A huge thank you goes out to my Patreons and YouTube channel members for making videos like this possible, and a special mention as always goes out to my Panzer Aces. That's Patrick, Oscar, Colin, Panzer Jim and James. You guys are absolute legends, and if you'd like to join their ranks, you become a Panzer Ace or just become a Patreon or YouTube channel member. You can find all of the information in the applicable websites and as well as on the YouTube membership page. Alright guys, this is the end of the video today. Be sure to let me know if you want to see any more Flames of War videos in the comments section. Don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up just to help me beat that bloody YouTube algorithm. Alright guys, that's enough of me rambling. I'm going to leave it here and I will catch you at the next one.